Hey guys, it's Encore Performance here, back with another video. I thought since you guys enjoyed the last Pacifist Immortal video so much, I'd do another one. Unfortunately, at the time of recording this, Dante was busy with finals exams, so I've chosen Conan instead, who will fill Dante's role as the pacifist in the Hastings scenario, as you'll see. The final goal of our scenario will be to destroy a castle located on the mainland of the map, which will be in the bottom left. This is represented as England. We will start in the far right of the map, in a little area representing Normandy. From this position, Conan and I will be forced to first secure our island by defeating Harold's raiders, and then we will have to boom, create a massive trade economy as we will quickly run out of resources on our island, and then, with the help of Conan's pacifism and my immortalism, we will be able to take out Orange's castle and win the scenario. But things might not quite go to plan, as you're going to see. Things start off as I'm going to get a couple of villagers, like I said, working on my economy back at home. Meanwhile, I'm going to grab my hero and 3 villagers, as to the south, there's going to be a constant stream of yellow units. So the best way to deal with this is to first lure away these couple of Huskarls, then bring our villagers up ahead, as they're going to have to wall this area. So I'll lay out the foundation and plan it. I'm going to leave a space, as my hero unit will have to return. That way he will not die, so that would defeat the point of immortalism. Red Scout, however, is going to intervene. Thankfully, we can try and block it using the Huskarls as the villagers get all the wall up but one piece. Our hero will quickly do just a circle or two to give them time, and I was going to directly go in here. Unfortunately, the Huskarls were a bit close, so I was just concerned it might not work out too well. So I go around these trees here, give them a little loop. I don't manage to block the scout. Thankfully though, with some good luck, my villager manages to time it perfectly with the red scout's attack and place the wall. After this, we're going to fat slob this entire area and place a castle, which will keep our southern flank safe while we eliminate the 1 yellow barracks above us. As we place the foundations for our walls here on the southern front, we're going to send our hero back up towards the village in just a moment. Back at the village, we'll see we are also fortifying our walls there, just to make sure we don't have any little raids that could cause a death. Now I'll grab my hero while Harold Hardrada makes an offer and lure some units away from my path to Conan. I'm also going to have to grab all the units you'll see on screen. There's some as well on Conan's wall, but I'll have to leave those for the moment. I'll bring these over to the castle I start with, and with a bit of micro and running around, my castle is able to pick most of them off. Due to the lack of murder holes, my hero does have to stay out there, but we've just begun to research it, so that'll be a solution to that problem. We are then granted a large amount of units should we ally Harold Hardrada, including some ships and units. However, I will not be able to use these, so I'll store them to the side. Back at home, we managed to place down our castle after having sealed the walls, and this, as mentioned, will provide a safe flank. Due to the fact that the Huskarls are going through the wall at an alarming rate, after building the castle we'll build just one more road to secure it a little more. And as well, with some good fortune, Blue's ships decided, or well, Teal's, to take out one of Red's docks for us, which is crucial. Conan's even going to send his ships down to help, while we lure more units away from his wall. The reason taking out Red's docks is so crucial is because we want to make our island fully safe, that way we can trade. Red's going to continue to land units, but how can he land units if he has no docks to make the ships that will carry them? Well, we bunch up some yellow units by my base. As mentioned before, my units from Harold Hardrada will have to be protected, so we will store the military land units inside of the castle. The ships we'll put in this little cove. They have a close call with some red ships, another crucial reason that we must take out Red's docks. Thankfully, we'll be able to place a castle here right on the point to protect our ships, as well as placing docks to block that little area where the red ship is, as you see on screen. This will protect our longboats for the rest of the scenario. Now with our southern flank secure, as Conan takes out Yellow's barracks, after I clean up the few units remaining, such as this one attacking my gate, our island will be completely secure apart from Red landings. Thankfully, we're about to fix that in a moment. I'm quickly going to grab these 4 villagers, they'll repair their gate, then they'll head on over to Conan's base after he clears a tower or two, and they can begin our wall of castles. After the yellow barracks goes down, Conan's troops will take out the tower that you see the rubble of on screen with the nice power of editing. It's rather magic to me still, but no, I'm kidding. Conan will go for that bottom tower, but we're able to safely pass by. We'll head up top here, where we'll construct our first castle, being able to secure 1, Conan's terrible wood line. It looks like a villager coming from the TC with wood. 2, our longboats. And 3, Conan's coast from raiders, whether that be ships or transported troops. As I hinted at earlier, we are able to place 2 docks here side by side, which will fully seal off this area, meaning 1, our longboats won't sneak out without us knowing. They can be rather mutinous. Or 2, Red's ships won't get in. We managed to start building the second castle after a close call with Red's galleon, but it seems like no one was top deck, so they sail right ahead along into our castle. It's perfect to demonstrate the use of it already. Another great example of why those castles are going to be so useful is Red's massive approaching fleet, destroying first our houses on the northern island, then they'll head over to our island. Conan's able to evacuate his troops from there. As you can see, these will go down to cause Orange and Red some problems. As Red's fleet approaches, we decide to finish with our castle, and by sticking it, we do end up receiving some reward, as we have that second castle with villagers garrisoned inside to defeat Red's ships. Our castle will... even immortals can't be protected from grammar mistakes, my bad. But our 2 castles do manage to harm Red's ships and wipe out his entire fleet, in fact. Of the 1 Red dock that was destroyed, 2 more remain, so Canada's going to head over to build a forward base. He'll eject some villagers here along with a berserker. I believe he'll build a stable, as paladins are going to be his best weapon. However, during this time, Red lands a massive army of Huscarls on Conan's island. This is going to be brutal, as he has no way to defend against them. With no monks trained, and the delay it would take to even train just 1, Conan is fully at Red's mercy. Thankfully, over here, he'll be able to avenge himself by destroying Red's docks, and I'll just have to expand castles and bring my hero unit over. These villagers have a close call with 1 yellow Huscarl remaining on our island. Thankfully, with a quick wall, our villagers do get extremely low, 2 of them, but we can garrison them inside the castle to heal. Conan's knights, in fact, do perish to a large purple force, who was just not a big fan of the fact that Conan finally discovered proper wood lines. As you can see at the top of the screen, Conan's massive force of 2 knights will head over, though, to try and destroy some of Red's docks, or at least damage them in the slightest. We can grab 2 villagers here, when all of a sudden, oh, what's this? Red attacking us with a trebuchet. Our island is clearly not as safe as I thought. Thankfully, the cliffs prevent him from approaching, so as long as we evacuate the surrounding area, we'll be fine at the loss of a town center. After Red's units wandered up into our castles at the top, Conan's base is safe, and we'll take the opportunity to finally protect it with many castles. As you can see, we're going to build them with just overlapping range. They come up as Conan's Castle Age villagers return from a boar hunt. I guess it's more of an entertainment thing than economy, or so I should hope. The first castle will be completed any moment though, then the second, then the third. Conan's coast can officially be declared safe. Meanwhile, while we're safe at home, Conan is taking risks again, having built another forward base with a stable and an excellent wood line. Unfortunately, no villager to be seen in sight. Back at home, Conan's economy is, as mentioned, struggling, but our trade will bring this back, due to the fact that he will no longer be raided by Red, which was before a thorn in his side. He had lost many villagers in the process, so now he will be much safer and hopefully will be able to boom past this point. Speaking of Red, right on cue, a large fleet of his is going to pull up towards our castle, and once again, it's going to be an absolute slaughter for them. Our castles, with the help of heated shot, are going to be able to deal much damage to these ships. We'll also bring up a heavy demo from our nearby dock, as remember, demolition ships are magicians. They're allowed to do so. Speaking of demo ships, we find many units along the coast here trying to get across. They cannot swim though, so we bring a demo ship up and mass destruction can be ensured. Finally, finishing off a couple of Red's galleons that were outside of the castle's range. With the demo, we then look up and notice that Conan is being bombarded by another purple trebuchet. This is going to anger Conan. He'll bring his knights up to the top, where they will sit still as the Calvier upgrade is about to come in for Conan. In front of Purple's eyes, Conan's troops receive upgrades and new armor, a dashing new look as well. They'll sit still for a moment as Purple attacks them, but eventually, Purple will in fact become distracted, thinking they are not alive, perhaps just statues. He and his army will leave. Conan will then take this opportunity to run down towards Red's docks. This is where Conan will avenge his poor, woodline-carrying villagers. After some mixed directions and heading the wrong way, as you can see, Conan thinks perhaps he's going for the castle. But no, he's going for the docks. He turns up and begins to attack them. The first dock goes down. This is a great victory for Conan. He'll then grab his cavaliers, and while it seems like there are few, there are quite in fact enough to take out this second dock. It's close, but they do manage it and head up for a red tower up north. William the Conqueror is then forced to do menial tasks, such as clearing out the odd Huscarl below our base, when I then discover a glitch with the mountain here. If you spam click, you can in fact get through it. So he'll kill the nearby Huscarl, as I grab a villager, and she's going to have to come down here and wall this. That's what I originally do. I grab my lumberjack, I place the foundations for the wall, and all is good. But then a second idea comes to mind. After studying many of Doubt's streams and videos, I understand what not to do. So I'll place my castle, I'll seal off the villager though, to prevent it from becoming, as mentioned, a Doubt castle. This will give us a foothold into Yellow's territory. The castle does come up as predicted, and many nearby Yellow units rush to destroy it. Thankfully for us, we've researched murder holes, so the villager will garrison inside where she's safe, pop out quickly to make a little wall on the side, to prevent the castle from being attacked from too many sides, as well as distracting the Yellow troops. She will then return inside the garrison and allow our castle to mow down these Yellow units. Once they are all dead and she's just outside the range of a tower, she can place a gate in the perfect position, I got it lucky this time, and seal off the castle. Now that Red's docks have been destroyed, I can expand onto the navy safely, so I'll place many more docks up on the shore here, and produce tons of demos. As you can see, my Viking troops are up here, as I realized I had not shown it before. After placing a gate to protect us from Yellow, we'll use his own walls against them. You can see our hero as well has taken out these watchtowers. This is to prevent any Yellow troops from gaining a vantage point on us. After the gate is secured, we will place a castle up at the top here. We'll have the high ground, Obi-Wan would be proud, and a perfect view into Yellow's base along with arrow range. Once the castle is completed, as mentioned, we get a good view into Yellow's base so we can see where troops are at, and we're able to destroy all of these pesky scorpions. We then place a second castle within range of his archery range, barracks, and these troops that keep trying to break out. This will be crucial, as once again we'll be able to destroy more buildings from the safety of our walls. Speaking of destroying buildings, Conan now has fully upgraded paladins, wiping out Red's towers. This is going to make landing up north far easier. Why would we be landing up north? You'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. Yellow continues to build these scorpions, which are getting pesky, so I'll use some petards to attack the building while using my hero to weaken some others. With some demos, we're able to cause mass destruction up north here. As you can see, these purple rams don't stand a chance, along with the fact that we will continue to find bunched up groups of units, such as this one. It seems like some sort of a party or a festival. Thankfully, we're here to interrupt. You can see the piles of corpses on screen. Another reason we brought demos over is Red has a few remaining ships, such as these two fire ships. So we will destroy them on the spot, again securing the waters even more. We then begin our trade. I'll trade with Conan, and it's a very long route, so we'll get plenty of gold. This gold will go towards more demos, which will continue to take out purple and orange units on the island, preparing for when we finally make our landing. As you can see, Conan tributes us some resources as we continue to push into Yellow's base. After deciding Red will be our first landing point, I'm able to clear out the first batch of Huscarls with just 2 demos, an extremely cheap trade for such high expensive value of his units. I'll then bring a couple more Huscarls while using my longboats to pick off units at the top of the map. After killing a couple more Red units, well, a couple, we'll use our demos to destroy 2 more Red ships, finally claiming the oceans as ours and only ours. As we continue to push into Yellow, I'll make trade, as now that our base is safe, I can make units. This trade gold will then be tributed to Conan, who can as well make units, however his will be for a malicious intent. He will construct a large navy, which will then sail down towards Orange's Town and begin to destroy buildings, mostly towers, from the waterfront. I'll also be able to use some demos to help him, as the only 2 units I'm allowed to delete throughout this kit are petards and demos, and only when it's in the case of attacking as mentioned in a previous video. Conan will then land an absurd amount of rams. However though, with no coverage, he's going to need this amount. They begin to head over to Red's top barracks, as I'll take out troops from the water using demos, as every troop that's attacking his ram counts, so as many as I can eliminate beforehand matter. Conan's rams are going to deal a lot of damage, take out these 2 towers along with the barracks itself. However, only a couple purple infantry will be able to shred the entire force. After Conan accomplishes his goal and destroys the 2 barracks and his entire siege force is eliminated, a couple of paladins will run across a narrow ice bridge. I see what's about to unfold, so I'll pull up my demolition ships. A lone holy man of Canadian Conan stands on the ice, able to defeat an entire army. Definitely not the demolition ships, with just the power of God. As mentioned, he's working in hand with the demolition ships, who are magicians, which is why they're able to die without counting as a loss. However, one trebuchet does make it through and destroy his monastery. He then sends those said paladins over to Purple's village, where he'll start taking out towers, especially those pesky fire ones. We'll land a villager at the top of Red's base using Conan's transports, with a couple of demolition ships to block the only land entrance to the area, along with some walls just in case anything gets through. I want to build a castle here. Unfortunately, I can't, so I'm going to call Conan's navy over, but I realize my demolition ships, with the use of their magic, can in fact range this lumber camp on the shore without damaging the villager beside it. It's perfect. I'll bring them up, and they will detonate one by one until the lumber camp is destroyed. The reason this needed to be done was so I could place the foundation of the castle. She'll now get to work on constructing. My castle currently being constructed will not fare the same fate as this red one, as it's about to be rammed down by the one and only Canadian Conan. Once again, no escort troops or paladins to lure away these gothic Huskarls as Dante may have done. Instead, Conan relies on brute strength, and it does work. He manages to take out the castle. Over here, we have trebuchets attempting to doubt our castle, but this is unacceptable. So once again, using our magicians within the heavy demolition ships, we're able to destroy the trebuchet. The castle does in fact come up and destroys what Red's woodline had been. In fact, I'd say this one must have been even worse than Canadian Conan's, due to the fact I don't even see a lumber camp in range, just villagers, arms full of wood. After this, we'll begin to mow down Red's army. Well, certainly one castle might have been good enough. I will not settle for it. So I begin to construct a second, down on the bottom of Red's base. This will once again mow down many Red units, disrupt his economy, and even aid us in the eventual destruction of Red. As hinted at before, Conan does not forgive easily. The few too many Red raids into his base have caused him to want to destroy Red's entire economy, and thus it will be done. The castle comes up, but there are barely enough walls to even hold off the approaching swarm of Huskarls. Thankfully, we can use our villager as bait to lure these Huskarls towards the side of the castle, right towards our demolition ships. This is going to be chaos. After our villager jumps inside the transport ship, having lured them over, we notice troops in fact come over just to be able to attack from all sides of the castle. After explosion and explosion, more and more troops fall to the ground. It's the exact opposite of what an immortal would do. It's just careless throwing away of his troops from Red. An act I've only seen too many times. Conan. Our castle goes down, but at the cost of many Red units. They'll now head up for our northern castle. But due to this, almost Red and Orange's entire armies have been annihilated. And I'm not going to stop here. I build another castle at the top. This will lure over Orange troops, distracting them from what Conan's about to do to Red. We get lucky. Even Red troops come, and as you can see, it's an absolute massacre. Troops after troops attempt to siege our castle, but due to the way it's built, they must cross these deadly shallows. This is where many a foot die, and even those of the siege machine rolling on wheel. Conan sets up a base in the south, building many horses. These will be launched towards Red. Unfortunately, I've lost Eclipse, but Red's entire base does get annihilated while I was distracting him. I'm super sorry that I don't have the recording there, but you'll just have to imagine the carnage from Canadian Conan's Paladins. As you can see here, they're going to repeat it on purple. After having lured his units out, Conan will now attempt to destroy the TC. If he manages to get this down, which of course he will with his strength, Purple will not rebuild it, and this will be the last of Purple's villager production. Speaking of production, Conan's Southern Island has been pumping out paladins like crazy, while my docks continue to produce demo ship after demo ship. With a bit of luck, and a lot of numbers, Conan does manage to get Purple's town center down, He then sends his paladins towards the castle. Thankfully, this is very important for us to see, as he's going to damage it a little, but we'll notice it to be repaired later. This is due to the fact that Purple's villagers will in fact repair the castle, meaning we'll have to pick off all of them, this will be my job since Conan cannot kill, before we can destroy the castle. And yes, while defeating Purple is not necessary, they have angered Conan, so now they must face the wrath. I'll lure up another Purple army up onto the forbidden ice bridge of where Purple's ancestors had already met their doom, chasing a long-gone Canadian Conan group of paladins. After draining the town, Conan will now launch an assault into the city. Before he can do this though, I'll have to prepare for our eventual battle against Orange. You are wondering, how might we kill his swarms and swarms of units when there is no water nearby for our demolition ships? We will create the greatest fortifications, or possibly even a citadel you've ever seen. Many castles up along the cliff. During this time, our hero, William the Conqueror, formerly William the Bastard, will pick off Purple Villager after Purple Villager. With one final army lure, Conan is now ready to attack the city. As Conan's army approaches and our hero runs back, we place a couple more castles along the cliffside in preparation of our arrow slaughter machine. Then, right on cue, William shows up, kills the last few villagers as Conan's swarm of paladins enters the city. Purple's castle will not stand a chance. As mentioned previously, you must not face the wrath of Canadian Conan. Due to our lure, there are barely enough Purple units inside the settlement, but there are enough. They managed to defeat Conan's army, but with no villagers remaining and the castle being such low HP, a second army arrives, and to Purple's avail, his castle is destroyed. After this, Purple will begin to delete units and delete buildings. As you can see at the top, the Saxon army has resigned. Just Harold left to go. And speaking of Harold, Conan's got a welcome party for him. As I lure units towards the beginning of our fortifications, as this will continue to expand, Conan destroys many of Orange's outer camps around the city. With the south camp now having been destroyed, Conan can move on these northern towers, which were aided in the battle against Harold Hardrada. He will easily destroy them, and then move on to the castle itself after having destroyed the gate. Once this is finished, he will then go for this northern camp, cutting off Orange's unit production except for a slow trickle of Huskarls out of the castle. But even we have a plan to deal with these. With everything destroyed but the castle itself, William must dash in, shout some insults at the Orange Huskarls, and then charge out. This allows Conan to attack the castle with his full force. And it's all over. But wait, what is this? Green forces seem to have abandoned the castle. With it being on low HP, valiant paladins run in to sacrifice themselves against the castle. They slowly deal damage and damage until it remains on 2 HP. We will then grab our hero, William the Conqueror himself, who will charge towards the castle. Up here, you can see all the units I've used to complete this scenario, plus of course a wide assortment of now gone demolition ships, a couple of petards, and my crazy trade route. You can see it on the minimap, just a straight blue line. William approaches the castle. The strongest lance hit to have ever been done, one taps it, just destroyed. It's the balls of this man, I tell you. He then even finishes off the 2 Huskarls. After killing the first, the second one attempts to flee for his life. A Norman knight announces our victory. And as I wait, staring at the couple of units I've used to win this scenario, along with the help of Conan and his many now dead paladins, I look back on what we've achieved. Then I pull up statistics. We can see a total of 3,200 kills and 0 losses. Conan with not a single kill and 600 and some losses. This is bad for Conan, yet good, because of course as an immortal I cannot approve, but I can respect it. As I glance one last time at the statistics, I realized we've done it. We've achieved it. I then return to the main menu. This is a very fun scenario to play through, and I'm glad I could bring it to you guys and show you what we've done. If you have any comments or ideas on how I could improve it, my Discord link will be in the bottom. Next up, I believe I'll be making a video on Diante's Indian campaign as a pacifist. It's going to be great, so you guys can get ready for that. Thank you for watching, and can you all have a great night.